Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Is it Jose Mourinho's last stand? Do you like what I did there? United Stand, last stand. Is it Jose Mourinho's last stand? Will Valencia be the last game for Jose Mourinho? It is going to be a Skype show. I apologise, we normally would do a preview for the Valencia game, so I'm just going to include it very, very quickly at the start here, and then I want to take your calls because there's so much to talk about since the last Skype show, since the last show last night where we had Rants and Sophie and a lot of people have opinions. I've noticed today we've had the Jose Mourinho press conference as well where, he says it's a collective thing, where he says it's the players. I'm just going to say this. This is a tweet I put up earlier on. Jose Mourinho's got over 25 players to choose from. He's been here 3 years and he's kept most of those players or bought some of them players. He picks the team. He picks the tactics. Why is it the players' fault after 3 years? I don't get it. Maybe someone wants to call in and tell me why it's the players' fault and why it's not the manager's fault. When he's been here for that long, he's picked these players. He's got so many people to choose from. He picks the formation. He picks the tactics. How is it not his fault? I don't know. Maybe you tell me that. I don't know anymore. If we lose tomorrow night, is that the end of Mourinho? I don't want to lose tomorrow night. I want to win tomorrow night because I want Manchester United to win games. I don't think we should be wishing Manchester United to lose games to get rid of a manager because our board isn't competent enough to do what's best for the club. I think the writing's on the wall, as I said before. But before we start taking your calls, and it is Skype Goldbridge, all one word, I just want to very, very quickly, Valencia tomorrow. This is how I think Manchester United should line up. There's my 11 to your left there. De Gea, Smalling, Lindelof, Matic, Valencia, Shaw, Fellaini, McTominay, Lingard, Lukaku, Sanchez. Now, straight away, you're going to say, where's Pogba? Where's Martial? Where's Fred? Where's Bailly? This is how I think Manchester United should line up tomorrow. Not because I want to line up like this, not because you want to line up like this, but because these are the sort of players that we know are Mourinho favourites. And these are the players, whether Pogba gets in there or Martial gets in there every now and again, these are the sort of players that stop us putting our best team out. Now, some of them belong in our best team, like De Gea and Shaw and Lukaku, but the rest of them, they've taken the places of our players over the last couple of years. What I want to see Jose Mourinho do is go, instead of having an excuse like he did today in the press conference saying some people try more than others and we automatically think he's talking about Pogba and Martial, I want to see Mourinho picking the team of his players tomorrow, the players that he believes are good enough to be Manchester United players, the players that he never slates, the players that are clearly in his gang. I want Mourinho to go with his team tomorrow, and let's see what happens with a midfield of Fellaini, McTominay and Matic. Let's see what happens with a front three of Sanchez, Lingard and Lukaku. I don't want to see Pogba starting tomorrow. I don't want to see Martial starting tomorrow because he's had so many negative things to say about players like that. Let's see how he gets on without it. And I would have a lot of respect for Mourinho tomorrow if he actually went and picked his team of players, because that's not my team. My team would be De Gea, Dalot at right back, Shaw, Bailly. I'd probably play Lindelof, to be honest, with Bailly. My midfield three would be Matic, Fred and Pogba. My front three would be Lukaku, Rashford and Martial. But they're not his players. I want him to pick his players tomorrow. I don't know what you think about that. He's becoming like a virus now. Let's get him out of the club. That was from CDL Bro. Well, there you go. There's a talking point for you. And as I said, the summary from his press conference today was that it's a collective thing. From the physio to him to the players. He said that some players try harder than others and wouldn't name names. So why did you say it? But ultimately, I want to take your calls now. I want to take your calls. I want to take your comments, and that's what I want the show to be about tonight, because we have had a lot to say over the last couple of days, and Monday Night Skype is all about what you lot want to say. So looking forward to taking that. Also want to just say as well, we've got another competition for you. The link is in the video description for BetBull. You must be over 18 years of age, and please do gamble responsibly if you're going to gamble. I'll talk you through that in a bit, but again, we're giving away another Manchester United shirt, which I'll announce the winner on the watch along tomorrow night. We've given 2 away over the last few days. All you got to do is download the app, put a £5 bet on, and follow me on BetBull, which I'll explain how you can do towards the end of the show, but just as a heads up for that. So, we're up and running. We're going to start with the live comments because they are the lifeblood of the show, like football fans are the lifeblood of football. Who won the last one, says Jay Brizzle. It was Grozza. I wrote it down. Yeah, Grozza won. He's had the email today. In fact, he sent a very nice email today. Says he's never won anything of his life. And Fixer Fox won the first one as well. So we've had 2 winners. So there will be another one to be won. I hope I get a chance on the Skype call tonight, says Chris Joseph. I hope you do as well. He needs to leave now, says Ewan Hacken. Lingard hasn't been in training. Possible fallout with Mourinho, says Matthew Swatton. I'd be very, very surprised if Jesse Lingard fell out with Jose Mourinho. He's always been a player that's he's injured. Exactly, Man United. I think Lingard is carrying a bit of an injury. So, yeah, I'd be very surprised about that. Michael Carrick for manager, says Josh Berry. Look, I like Michael Carrick, but I think people get a bit carried away with Carrick. Yeah, I think we get a bit carried away with Carrick. Yeah, he's a very, very good footballer, but what is his pedigree as a coach, let alone a Manchester United manager? You know, I don't agree with that. Opinions on Seri, Marks, as Lucas Channel. Well, Seri the footballer or Seri the manager? I think the manager's done a very, very good job. They've both done good. They're both adapting quite well, to be honest. Jose going to park the jet against Valencia, play 9 defensive players and still find a way to blame Martial and Jose out. That won't happen tomorrow because it's at Old Trafford. I think the game tomorrow is a really good point, but the game tomorrow is at Old Trafford. He can't sit back and park the bus. Now, whatever happens with Spanish clubs, when you look at United's history with Spanish clubs, recent history over the last 6 to 7 years, I remember us playing Atletico Bilbao and getting played off the park. We've played Sevilla last season and we've been played off the park. Valencia tomorrow is a massive test for United. And you know what? If we win the game tomorrow with good football, you'd have to say that that's a good result, no matter what. And I'd still say if we win tomorrow night, Mourinho still has to go because it's just a stay of execution. But if he was to win tomorrow night, that would be a very good result because Valencia are a good team, depending on how we do it, of course. But I do think that is a very, very tough game for United to have if Valencia are in form. I mean, then they're about 14th in La Liga at the moment, but there's only about a handful of points off them and the top. So they can do well. But they'll be a footballing team. Batshuayi plays for them. I nearly called him Chevrolet then. Kershiev, who scored a lot of goals for Russia in the World Cup, he plays for them. They've got some good players and they've got a good approach to how they play football. We will be having Skype. If you are calling in on Skype at the moment, I'd just kill your call. Skype's playing up. There's too many people calling in, so it's crashed. And until people stop calling in, it won't sort itself out. So I'm not taking a Skype call at the moment. And if you are trying to Skype in, I would stop because it's not going to start working till a few people stop calling in. So I'll stay with the live comments for the moment. We make the small teams look good, like Sevilla last year, knocking us out, says Xfusion. I just think that our approach to the Sevilla game last season was very, very weak. That was the problem with that. And, you know, they are a footballing side, aren't they? Mourinho has lost it, says Kyle XA. Rather than just statements, how's about chucking up some topic points? That would be good. And please do drop a like on the video tonight because it will be the Skype show. There is only one Jose Mourinho, says Ethan Hunter. I mean, I'm very interested to see. Look, Sam Howes, I wish people would listen to what I've just said about Skype. It's crashed because so many people want to call in. If you're calling, it's going to stay crashed. Stop calling. Let the system sort itself out, and then I'll tell you when to call again. It's as simple as that. It's not even open at the moment because it's crashed. Pogba has created anarchy in this club, says Abhishek. Again, what I would say about that, Abhishek, is how do you know this? How do you know this? It's totally and utterly speculative to say that Paul Pogba has caused anarchy at Manchester United. I don't know where that sort of opinion really does come from, to be honest. De Gea didn't travel, says King Z. Well, why would he travel when we're at home to Valencia? We're not playing in Valencia, we're playing at home. It's going to be a boring game tomorrow, says Zana. I would disagree with that. It's it's at Old Trafford. It's a Champions League game. Valencia are a good footballing side. I think there will be a response from United tomorrow. I don't think the players are not trying on purpose. Attacking plan, says Mamor Endor. We must leave Mata and Sanchez out of Manchester, says Mohammed. You don't deserve the special one, says Aldal Tavaji. I mean, you're right. We don't deserve it. Andrew Ellis says, thanks for creating the United stand. That's great. I tell you what, Skype needs to just die, doesn't it? We really do need to sort out this Discord thing. Because I can't open Skype. I don't know what people are doing. You're not listening to me. You're selfish. You're ruining the Skype show because I've told you to stop Skyping so I can at least get it open. And people are Skyping away, selfishly thinking they're going to be the first call. Stop Skyping. It will not open while I've got hundreds of people Skyping. Let me get it open. Let the system settle. Then I'll say Skype. It's not working. So, this is fantastic now. This is absolutely bloody fantastic. It's asking for a frigging password, of which I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Well, this show's getting the Skype show's going great, isn't it? We've got a very selfish community who just won't stop calling so I can open it up. I've had to close it, open it again, and now it's asking for a password, which I haven't got a bloody clue what it is. So that's fantastic. Bear with me. But yeah, I don't think we deserve Jose Mourinho is my answer to that. I really don't. I think we're very unfortunate to have him at the moment, and he's probably outstayed his welcome. That would be my opinion on it. But I do think we'll beat Valencia tomorrow. And I think we'll beat Newcastle. And I think that will make it very easy, very interesting, because I think people then will be maybe going back to being Mourinho in again, which in itself is quite interesting, because the flippant nature of our support, some of our support, is quite interesting, I always think. But I cannot believe this. How can I not know what my Skype password is to get back in? What a load of nonsense that is. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Oh, I love live TV. It absolutely does you in. It will do you in at the most inopportune moments. No, there's no Skype show tonight. So thanks to everybody who didn't stop Skyping, so it crashed. Because now I can't even get back in at all. So now the Skype show, which was going to be really good, has been absolutely screwed up by selfish people. Thanks for that. You've ruined it. Well done. Right. Well, we'll take live comments then. That's all we can do. Fucking brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Okay. Oh yeah, I'll start resetting the password 15 minutes into a live show. Yeah, great. We've all got minutes to watch me resetting things and getting into something, haven't we? Right. Well, look, Krista, if it's easy to sort a Discord account out, somebody do it and we'll just go that way. Eddie Howe, because he's English, says King Z. Everything in your life is unbelievable, says John Lyons. Thank you for that. And it's not that's not the password. Right, can somebody intelligent please start putting in decent comments into the comments about decent things we can talk about, because Skype's been ruined. People won't listen though. This is the problem with life. It's like, you know, when you're if you're stuck down the tube and people say, can you move back to clear the doors, that people think no, I'm not moving back, I'm not losing my place, I want to be first. And I did say, please stop Skyping, it's crashing, and everyone carries on doing it. Just ruined the show. Would you like Zidane and Evra together at United? What a great question from Jacob Mantle. Okay, let's get the show back on the road with brilliance like that. Would I take Zidane and Evra together at United? You know what? Obviously, me and Rance had a disagreement last night, because I said I'd like to see Keane and Giggs at the club, because I think it's really important that United get their identity back. And as much as I like Zinedine Zidane, I also think that there is that sort of question mark about whether another manager who's got no affiliation to Manchester United, another potential gamble, is that a good idea or not? But what I would say is that if you bring him in with someone like somebody like Patrice Evra, who knows the club like the back of his hand and has captained the club, I think that could be very, very, very good. Very, very good. Because the one thing that Patrice Evra is, that maybe a Phil Neville wasn't or didn't appear to be, is because obviously he was, we have had people, we must remember this. We have had people who have been involved in the club since Sir Alex Ferguson left, who have the identity of United. David Moyes had Phil Neville. LVG had Ryan Giggs. Mourinho now has Carrick, but that's probably a little bit late. So we have had that connection, and we've still drifted away from what the club's all about. So to say I want Giggs to be manager or anything like that, well, we had Giggs with Van Gaal. We lost our identity. We had Phil Neville with Moyes. We lost our identity. So maybe somebody a little bit more passionate, like Patrice Evra, could be somebody really good for Manchester United. So Zidane and Evra at the moment would be good. But to be honest with you, anybody who wants Pochettino, anybody who wants Giggs, anyone who wants Zidane, I would say, yeah, I would say yeah. I would love that. Mad Marcus says, we still love you, bud. Any chance of Laurent Blanc or Simeone? I don't like Simeone. I think his football would be very, very defensive for us. I do like Laurent Blanc. We did a show last March, didn't we, where we spoke about the next Manchester United manager, because lots of people wanted that show. And we went through about 10 different managers, people like Jardim, Simeone, Allegri, Zidane wasn't mentioned, I don't think, at the time. And I said at the end, look, hypothetically speaking here, Laurent Blanc is the manager I would want at Manchester United, because he's free at the moment. He's a footballer who's achieved World Cups. He's played for Barcelona. He's played for Manchester United. When he was at Bordeaux, he promoted youth. He won the league with Bordeaux, which is quite an unfashionable thing to do. And he played good football. So I liked the idea of Blanc. Obviously, Zidane wasn't available at the time. Again, I'd be happy with both. I'd be happy with both. Evra has not had any experience coaching. No, he hasn't. But that's why Zidane would be the coach. What about Gary Neville, says Marco Romero. Look, Gary Neville, for me, is one of the best pundits there is out there, without a shadow of a doubt. 100%, one of the best pundits out there. But would you give the job to Gary Neville straight away? I don't think many people would do that, because he didn't do particularly well at Valencia. It was a bit of a nightmare. And he hasn't shown any indication that he wants to come back into club football. So to give him the Manchester United job, having what happened at Valencia and no pedigree behind him, I'm not saying that Gary Neville wouldn't be a bad manager in the future, but I don't think Gary Neville would be taking the Manchester United job himself, and I certainly don't think that the Manchester United would offer him the job. He may be the sort of person that would come in as an assistant, and I think that would be something that I would be interested in, but I don't actually see Gary Neville coming in as a manager of Manchester United. Not in a million years, but that's only my opinion. I don't know whether that's right or wrong. Luis Enrique is available, mad lad, yes. Goldbridge meltdown, to Storyface. I'm not in a meltdown. I'm disappointed. I am disappointed. I'm disappointed because I love the Skype show. And it's frustrating that we can't get it up and running. But we'll just interact and we'll talk. What do you think Antonio Conte as Manchester United manager? Oh, God. Kean Roper, thanks for the contribution. But I think I would cry at that. I would really cry at that. It would be massively, massively frustrating to have Antonio Conte at the club. Again, I don't like taking people... I mean, we've done this a lot now. Matic, Mourinho, Chelsea. I think we need to start doing what some clubs actually are doing in world football now. And that is to start building your own legacy. Start doing your own thing. I mean, people mention Jardim from Monaco, who's very good at, getting players and developing players. And, I'd be concerned about a manager like that. Of course I would. Why wouldn't I be? But I'd also be quite excited about it, because I'd be like, well, hold on a minute. Here's a man who, he's not been at a big club before. And maybe that would work. So, but Conte sacked by Chelsea. Do we want another manager that's been sacked by Chelsea? My answer to that would be a big fat no. Let's not do that. It's too much of a risk. So no, not for me. But maybe some of you think so. I'm really disappointed with myself that I actually have not written down my Skype password anywhere. It's absolutely stunning that I've not done that. Really disappointed in myself, to be honest. No, that's not it. You wanker. You absolute prat. Oh, so disappointed. I'm so disappointed. I've got to get over it. Let's stop getting Chelsea rejects, says Mark Van Oo. I agree with you. And Arsenal have got 7 wins on the bounce and Chelsea smashing it. How does it take 3 managers and go backwards, says Elliot Cumberland. Well, you know what? You've got to look at it. You know what? I'm going to defend Mourinho here because I don't think many people will. But let's think about Jose Mourinho's first season at Manchester United. And I seem to remember that we did win our first 3 games and we had quite a good start to the season. And last season we had quite a good start as well. It's just this year it's just been nothing like it, and I think that's where people are quite annoyed because it's getting worse, isn't it? Roma Dude says, from the class of '92, I'd prefer Gary Neville, Scholes, or Giggs. As for outside, I would prefer Zidane. Okay, what happened to Jurgen Klinsmann? Says Aaron Ives. Last heard he was in America. I don't think I'd have him as a Manchester United manager. Steven Gerrard, next Manchester United manager, says Scott Wilson. I don't think there's much chance of that. And I would like Eddie Howe. Again, I don't think it's... Yuppo should actually have his spanner because I gave it to him. So I don't know what's gone wrong with that, Mad Marcus, because we actually sorted it out on the phone together. I don't know why you haven't got it. Maybe it's been given to the wrong Yuppo, which would be great. If Zidane comes in, what you think he will bring, says Connor Park. Well, he'd bring a lot of respect straight away because he's a player that's won everything. He's a manager that's won 3 Champions Leagues in a row. And I think a lot of people would respect him. And I think at the moment, that's where Mourinho is struggling. His style of football is also more modern than Mourinho's. But I think we are talking disrespectfully about Jose Mourinho here because he's not left the club. I personally want the question to be answered because is Valencia, if we lose tomorrow, thanks for the contribution, Thierry, if we lose to Valencia tomorrow, is that Jose Mourinho's last game? I would say no, I don't think it is. I think they would give him till Newcastle, and then, even if we get played off the park tomorrow and lose, which I don't think we're going to, do you think Mourinho's gone if we lose tomorrow? Because I don't. I know that Manchester United home crowd. And even if we lose tomorrow, they're not the sort of crowd to start shouting Mourinho out. That's just not the way they are. So that's not going to happen. I think the club would, even if we lose tomorrow, they'll stick with him. And then we've got Newcastle at home on Saturday, and I think we would win that game. And then you go into an international break, and we get the whole vibe of, well, we've beat Newcastle. It's something to build on. So I don't see Mourinho going anywhere. And Mourinho did say that in his press conference. He was asked if he felt that his job was on the line. He said, no, I don't. So I think I think he knows that he's all right. I think he's probably been told that at the moment you're all right. You don't need to worry about it. But we've got some very difficult games coming up in October. And the toughest, the reality is the players don't... I would never say he's lost... I would never say, and Mourinho said this himself, I would never say the players are not playing for the badge. I wouldn't say that. What I would say is that the players are lost in the system that Mourinho uses. They don't like it. It doesn't get the best out of them. And they are frustrated with the system that they're asked to do. Because it doesn't get the best out of a lot of our players. And it's very, very negative. I don't see how we can change that. If you think back to the Brighton game, well, no, let's not think about that. Let's think back to the Burnley game and the first half against Spurs where we played really good football. And people said after the Spurs game, we applauded Mourinho because although we lost 3-0, we played some really good football and we saw shoots of positivity there. But since then, all right, Burnley, but they were rubbish. But since then, Watford, and of course Wolves and Derby and West Ham, 4 football games, we've not seen anything like what we saw against that Spurs. And we'd not seen anything like that before. That Spurs game was just a complete and utter self-contained moment of positivity that if we play like this, maybe we can get things back. Before it and afterwards, he's gone back to what he used to play like. So I just don't see how things change. Bada Bing Schving says Zidane in equals hype, motivation, respect, attack-minded, sideline passion and role model for millions. Can't now, but the feeling is massive positivity. Probably because it's so bad with Mourinho. So there's a Zidane in for you. And Jack Dunn says, are we going to have to fall to the point of no expectations before we can be successful again? It's a good point, and I don't actually think there is much of an... Look, I can only speak for myself, and I want to take your comments. All right, let's do it this way. I'll sort Discord out. I'll get it sorted, and on Thursday night we'll do Skype properly on Thursday night. But I want people now in the live comments, and I'm going to go through these. How are you feeling about Manchester United at the moment? How long would you give Mourinho realistically? And what are your expectations for Manchester United this season, even if we do bring another manager in? Because my expectations at Manchester United currently are on the floor. I think if we stay as we are, and I personally think we'll win tomorrow, and I think we'll beat Newcastle. So it's not like I'm doom and gloom. I think we're going to win the next 2 games. And if we win tomorrow, that puts us in a good position to get out of the group in the Champions League. And if we beat Newcastle, it's 3 points. But I think in October, we're going to lose at least 2 games. Looking at those games we've got, we're going to lose at least 2 games. And we'll all be back where we are again tonight. So I don't see this situation resolving itself. But as I've always said, I don't think we're going to lose 4 or 5 games in a row. And Mourinho's going to get the sack. I think we'll lose 2, win 1. Lose 1, win 2. Win 1, lose 2. I think that's what we're going to do. We're never going to get any momentum this season. I personally think if it stays as it is, i.e. Mourinho stays in post, you're going to see more of Scott McTominay. You're going to see plenty of Fellaini and players like that. The same sort of... and they can only play the system Mourinho plays. That's why they play well, because they're good in a slow-moving defensive side. It suits that sort of a player. I think we'll finish below Arsenal, so that would put us 6th. I think that's what my expectation for this season is. Of course, we're not going to win the Champions League. Our ceiling will be getting out of the group. We can't win the Carabao Cup because we're out. And the FA Cup, well, maybe anyone can win the FA Cup. So maybe we could win the FA Cup. That would be as best as we can hope for this season, if we keep it the same. If we change the manager in the next few weeks, there's a chance that everything can change around very quickly and we could fight for 4th. And maybe we could get a respectfully deep into the Champions League, maybe a quarter-final, and maybe win an FA Cup. But I'm absolutely realistic on United's expectations at the moment, personally. So I think if we stick with Mourinho, we're going to finish 6th and maybe win an FA Cup, and that's about it. I think if we sack Mourinho, we might scrape 4th and win an FA Cup. So, the season's gone. I heard somebody saying this morning. The season's gone. It's gone. So we may as well make the change now and start building for next season. And if we bring a new manager in, we're not going to be Zidane or Blanc or Giggs out in February if we lose a load of games. Because we'll always be able to... we've got to be patient with a new manager. And we would say, what a disaster. What a mess to come in and take over. I believe Jurgen Klopp took over Liverpool when around this time from Brendan Rodgers. And his first season was very, very difficult. They lost a lot of games. I think they finished 8th. And that's Klopp, who's turned Liverpool round massively in the time that he's been there. But it's taken a long time. I don't think Mourinho's going anywhere anyway. But if Mourinho was replaced in the next sort of few weeks, we'd have to be massively patient with a new manager. Because it could get worse before it gets better. And Klopp would be the prime example of that, because he did come in an October time. I'm now enjoying this show. Thanks for the good questions. Thierry Manrick says, Nuno Espirito Santo is a great potential manager and he's attack-minded. Thanks for that. And remember, if you can make a contribution through the below, through the $, but please do leave us a comment so I can read it out. I personally just want to applaud everybody who's watching the show tonight and who's watching it live or not, because that Skype thing really, I wear my heart on my sleeve. You should watch my FIFA streams. I think you'll understand why I get so frustrated when I'm playing FIFA, because I do wear my heart on my sleeve. And if you watch the watch-alongs, I do wear my heart on the sleeve. And this is one of my favourite shows, and I love getting you lot on. So Skype sort of broke down tonight. It's going to have to be the last time we use that. We'll move to Discord and we'll get it back. So my apologies for that. But you've rescued the show with your brilliant live comments, and you've rescued it for me as well. I'm starting to enjoy it now. But I just got so pissed off with the Skype thing, and I apologise. Because I want this channel to be everything it can be, and it's brilliant. And you make it what it is. And that's why I love the Skype show, because we get you lot calling in. It gets me excited. That's what I love about it. So that's why I got a little bit frustrated. So apologies for that. But the live comments, as per usual, the lifeblood of this channel, you've turned it around. So thanks, everybody. And please do smash the like button, because you all deserve it. You're absolutely brilliant. And rest assured, I will sort that out. Fans should stop going to Old Trafford until Mourinho is sacked, says Nishant. I've seen a few people saying this, stop buying tickets. But what you've got to remember is that vast percentage of Manchester United is season ticket holders. So the money's already been spent. Those fans have already spent their money. So for them to stop going, it's not like they're buying a ticket. They've already spent their money on their season ticket. I think if half the ground didn't turn up tomorrow, then obviously that would be big headlines, and it would be a big, massive sign to the board not to back Mourinho, to get rid of Mourinho. If people want to do that, that's up to them. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't implore people to do that, because I think I'm trying to think why I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it because, look, if fans did it, it would probably get in the sack, because it would be like, that is the people who matter speaking with their feet and not turning up. personally, I would feel sorry for Mourinho to be humiliated like that. I don't think any human being deserves to be humiliated like that. And why should the fans humiliate Mourinho to get him out the club? Because we've got a weak board. We've got all the evidence they need to do what they need to do. And if they don't do it, it's on them. And they should do it. We shouldn't have to do stuff like that. So I don't agree with that. I don't agree with booing of players. I don't agree with shouting Mourinho out. I don't agree with anything like that. I am, despite what people think, a very sympathetic human being. I've seen people I don't like in some pretty sticky situations, and I'll always go and help them. That's just what I'm like. So I just wouldn't feel comfortable with Mourinho, sort of being booed out of Old Trafford. I'm a human being, and I do have empathy for other human beings. And at the end of the day, why should that happen? That would only happen because fans feel frustrated that they've got to force him out that way. And that frustration would be coming from an inept board. They've got to make the decision that's best for our club at the end of the day. Sports Story says late sacking will make the job hard for the new manager. What a comment that is, and thanks for it. I mean, that is very, very true. I think you get to a point of no, and I've not heard anybody say this. What a great comment that was. You get to a point of no return with this situation. I think if we wait till Christmas to sack Mourinho, we could be maybe 10 points off fourth. The second half at Christmas, you've got to play everybody again. Clawing a 10-point gap back when you've got Chelsea winning week in, week out, Liverpool winning week in, week out, Arsenal at the moment winning week in, out, but I meant City and Spurs. They win most games. So if you've got a 10-point gap at Christmas on top four, you're probably not getting top four. So that makes it massively, massively difficult for a new manager to come in. There'd almost be no point. There'd be no point because I don't think a new manager can come in January 10 points off top four and get top four. It's mission impossible. And then it's like, well, I'd be a man. If I was Zidane, I'd say I'll come in the summer, thanks, because I can only do myself damage. Whereas if you come in now, there is time, and you've got that patience. So what a comment that was. Players do not care enough. A lot of them need a reality check, says Kieran Byrne. I respect Kieran. But I'll go back to my point there, and maybe some people can get into the live comments. I mean, Sol Lund says by Christmas it could be a 15-point gap. It could. What is it at the moment? It's only 5 at the moment, is it? Or 6? But a fourth. I've spent so long, probably 8 months. You think about Sevilla, you think about the FA Cup final, you think about Newcastle away back in February. I've spent so long thinking about, and we've spoken about it so many times, is it the players, is it Mourinho? Is it the players, is it Mourinho? And I think when something's consistent, it's got to be the manager. And as I said at the start of the show, Mourinho's got a squad of 25 players. No one's forcing him to pick these players. He's got 25 players to choose from. And he picks his 11 players. And he picks the tactics. If he's got players in his squad that you, the fans, think aren't trying, then he must be aware of that. You don't pick them. Doesn't matter if it's Lukaku. Doesn't matter if it's De Gea. Or it doesn't matter if it's Pogba. If they're not trying, then surely you'd pick, McTominay, because he's going to try. So I don't agree that the players need to do more. I think the players are restricted by the system, and that's been proven over a number of months. If he's got players who aren't trying, you just wouldn't pick them because he's got a big squad to choose from. He's hardly given Mata a look in. Herrera hardly plays. Well, nobody can tell me that Mata and Herrera don't try when they're in United shirt. They try. They get it. They do try, but they've hardly played. So I don't think there's a hypocrisy in what Mourinho says and what fans say when they say the players aren't trying hard enough. Because players who we know will give 100%, like Mata, Herrera, even a McTominay, they don't play every week. In fact, a lot of the time they don't play at all. So you can't really say it's on the players and the players aren't trying enough because he's got more than enough players to replace those and he doesn't do it. So it's totally on the manager now. All the pundits are saying, the majority of the fans are saying it. It's on Mourinho. He's picked this squad over 5 transfers windows. He picks the team. He picks the tactics. It's on him. I'm sorry, that's my opinion. But Kieran, I do respect yours, and if you think differently, that's up to you. I would sell Sanchez and pay De Gea £500,000 a week, says Pedro. And just go totally defensive and try and nick a goal and win every game 1-0. Why isn't David De Gea in the travelling team to the game versus Valencia, says Anthony Bino. We're not travelling anywhere. It's in Manchester, so I don't know. But maybe Romero's... I don't know. One thing I would say from the weekend, Lingard obviously was carrying an injury, but I was very surprised that Alexis Sanchez got left out altogether. That amazed me because Martial has obviously not been treated particularly well. Rashford's not been treated particularly well. Sanchez has always been the man, and then Mourinho just kicks Sanchez out and annoys him. So it is, Alexis Sanchez looked very happy in training the day before the West Ham game. What would you do with 400k a week, says Positive Energy? I'd just blow it all on drink, drugs and rock and roll. No, I wouldn't. I'd probably buy another house and get some tenants in to cover the mortgage. And, then when I was about 55, I could have that mortgage paid off, sell the house I'm currently in and live off that money in that house and retire. Yeah. Very rock and roll answer. No. I don't know. I don't know what I'd do with 400 grand. It's not likely to happen, is it? Is Pancakes trying to wind me up? Is the Skype show on? Somebody sit him down, please. It's like a red rag to a bull tonight. Jay Daly says, absolutely spot on. 5 transfer windows and we're no closer to winning the league since 2013. I'd buy a Discord account. I've got to sort that out tomorrow. Rajar says, you're very optimistic to say we will finish 6th if Mourinho stays for the season. Yeah, maybe that is a little bit optimistic, but I would hope that we are the 6th best team in England. I would hope so. Please do drop a like on the video. It would be very nice to go past 500 likes tonight. It would be a massage to my very stressed ego after the Skype debacle. Jose is never responsible for anything. He's always someone or someone else's fault, says Marcus. Profit. The game is tomorrow night, mate. We are 5 points and 9 goals off 4th currently, says Always. Good. And you know what, though? I mean, the biggest thing is, and I haven't seen anybody in the live comments tonight who's really come up with a viable Mourinho in option, other than the one that I know is out there, that we are in a situation with... I think the people who back Mourinho are doing it because they love Manchester United. Win, lose or draw, back the manager, support the team. It's this psychology that some people have. You've got the other people who just think, well, it's year 3. We've had a disastrous start. We're nowhere near the top 4 in quality or points, and this was meant to be the year that he won us the title. I mean, that's the big thing, isn't it? In a sentence, we're not winning the title, and this is year 3. This was meant to be the year that he won the title, and we already know we're not winning the title. That's gone. That was gone a few weeks ago, to be honest. But that's gone. I mean, how many league games have we lost now? 3? Lost 3 league games out of 7. Bordering on 50% of our games. So, if that continues, we'll be a mid-table team. Mourinho will be off to AC Milan, says Julian Potato. Look, Mourinho will manage again. I'm sure he'll manage again and do quite well. Gazel Cesar says, if you love Manchester United, how can you back Jose Mourinho? It makes no sense. I just think some people have that mentality that they will support the manager while he's the manager of Manchester United. I think you'll see that tomorrow night at Old Trafford. Without a doubt, you'll see that at Old Trafford tomorrow night. It's a European night, and I have that mentality as well. When that game kicks off tomorrow, I want Manchester United to win. I mean, I'll ask that question. If I was offering you up for Mourinho, and well, I don't even need to offer it up tomorrow. Do you want United to lose tomorrow because you think it might get rid of Jose Mourinho? Because I've seen a few people putting it out on social media. I don't. I want to win. I always want to win. The only time that ever happened was the FA Cup final with Van Gaal, where I was like, is that going to mean he keeps his job now? And I was worried, and it didn't make me celebrate as much. But I wanted us to win. I just didn't celebrate as much because I was worried, like, oh, does that mean he's going to stay now? But I would never have said, I want us to lose the FA Cup final because I want Van Gaal to get the sack. Never. Just use Matic as team captain. He is way better than whining Pogba, says Leslie Lai. Look, I got a lot of stick with Matic. I got a lot of stick with Matic when we signed him, and I was right. I don't rate Nemanja Matic. Not because he's not a good player, but because he takes too many touches on the ball and he's slow. And I think if you look at most of the decent teams in world football now, they don't have CDMs who are slow and take too many touches on the ball. Most of them they're either quick across the ground or they move the ball very, very quickly. You look at Jorginho at Chelsea, the new signing, moves the ball very, very quickly, very Carrick-esque. You look at Kante at Chelsea, moves across the ground very, very quickly. They've got the perfect hybrid there with those two. That's why they're doing very well this season. You look at Man City with Fernandinho. He does both those things. And that is something that Matic just doesn't provide to United. Now, I like Matic, but I wish we'd never bought him. I wish we'd gone and got somebody who does do that job in the way that I think you need to do it in the modern day football. And he compounds it then by playing Fellaini with him. I've got a super chat. Andrew Rossi, never hope for your team to lose for any reason. No guarantee he gets the sacked even if we lose. I mean, that's an interesting one, Andrew, because I think you're right. I don't think Mourinho would get sacked if we lose tomorrow anyway. But I do think tomorrow is going to be a very difficult game for United. I do think tomorrow will be a very difficult game for United indeed. I think we will win because we need to win. But and I think the main thing I think the main reason I think we're going to win, that's Newcastle, isn't it, at the weekend? The main reason I think we're going to win is because I think that this is what we're going to have with Mourinho. I don't think he's going to get the sack. And I think we're just going to have a roller coaster season where we hit the lows like now, where we've had 3 terrible results: draw with Wolves, played off the park and beaten by Derby, and then played off the park and losing to West Ham. I mean, look at that. Those 3 games we took 1 point really, because we lost 2 and drew 1. Wolves, Derby, West Ham, 1 point. I know one's a cup game, but hypothetically. That's shocking, that is. The hardest game was always Valencia. So let's see. We'll probably win that because that's what we do. Virgil Hainsey, Jose saying he played Martial per request, yet said Sanchez and Martial aren't producing. Is that not him admitting his tactics and system is garbage? We all know his tactics and system are garbage. We all know that. It's not a horrible thing to say. You're right. We all know that. I think we'll win tomorrow night. I think we'll beat Newcastle. Then we'll lose to Chelsea. Then we'll beat the next team. I think is it Bournemouth. Probably lose to Juventus. Win the next game. Beat Everton at home. Lose to City. And that, and then you're into November and he's still here 6 weeks later. I think that's what's going to happen at United, if I'm totally honest with you. Mark, would you take Rijkaard at United? No. What formation do you think we'll play tomorrow, says Derek Cooney? I think he will probably play Fred and Pogba with Matic in the midfield. I think he will play Sanchez, Lukaku and Rashford as a front 3. And that would be quite an attacking team at home. I'm sure he'll find a place for Fellaini somewhere. But realistically, you can't play Matic and Fellaini in the same team again in Europe against teams like Sevilla, as we saw, and Valencia. If he plays McTominay as well, we're in real trouble. But if he plays Fellaini and Matic tomorrow, we're probably going to lose because we'll lose the midfield. So I think he'll play Fred, Pogba, Matic, and then Rashford, Sanchez, Lukaku. And that's why I think we'll win the game, because I think that as a front 6, in front of Old Trafford crowd, they're not going to... I think away from home it's easy to be subdued and frustrated, but at Old Trafford the crowd will give them the kick up the arse that they probably will need if their heads drop. So I don't see that happening. I think we'll be fine tomorrow. I do think we'll win tomorrow. Yeah, I do. I think we're going to be absolutely fine. And it won't change what I think, though. It won't change what I think. I think that the time has come for him to go, and that makes me very, very sad. But regardless if we win the next 2 games, unless we suddenly start winning 8-0 and playing better football than Liverpool and City combined, and even if we did, I'd still be like, the next time when we play Chelsea after the international break, he's going to park the bus again. For me, for Mourinho to stay, we'd have to win tomorrow night playing brilliant football. We'd have to beat Newcastle playing brilliant football. We'd have to go to Chelsea, play brilliant football and win. And then we'd have to continue it all the way till Christmas. And then, and only then, would I say, right, He's proved it. He's turned it around. Let's carry on with Mourinho. I'm fed up of the lies. I'm fed up of the promises. I'm fed up of the glimpse that we got against Spurs and then it disappeared to go back to the same rubbish football. And that, I suppose the trust has gone, hasn't it? I think the trust has gone. I don't trust anything Mourinho says at the moment, and I think that's nothing to do with being an arsehole. That's just to do with looking at the evidence over the last 8 months. There's been so many false promises. There's been so many lies, and I think to get that trust back, I've never known a manager in world football do it. Go to such a bad position and pull it back. If anyone can, I suppose Mourinho could. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm not saying I don't want it to happen. I still think the best scenario would be for United to sort this out, not have to change manager, not have to sell players, to use the players that we've got and add to it. I'd love that to happen, but it's make-believe. It's make-believe. There's no such thing as, when the evidence is there, the evidence is there. It's not going to happen. We're not going to suddenly start playing amazing, great football with this manager and these players. The damage is, to be honest, regardless of anything, the damage has been done. We don't know for sure who the players are that he's fallen out with. We can speculate it's Martial and Pogba and a couple of others because that's what the press put out there. But I don't choose to believe what the press say because they could be being fed lies and agendas or making it up. But what is clear is that Mourinho and the players, some players, don't get on. And I don't think you can repair that. I don't think you can. When the respect and trust is gone, it's gone. So we've got a lot of players who don't respect and trust this manager. And you can't get that back. And as I said this lunchtime, United, even if Zidane came in tomorrow, I'd say we're still 3 players short of where we need to be. With Mourinho, we're 8 players. We're 7 players short because he's got to get rid of the players that don't want to play for him anymore and get that 3 players. From a business point of view, it's a no-go. It makes total business sense to move Mourinho on and get a new manager in because he might get the best out of what we've already got and then only need 3 players. But if you stick with Mourinho, you've got to let him get rid of 3 or 4 players, replace those, and then get the other 3 in. It doesn't make... There's nothing about this that makes sense anymore. And that's why you've got fans like me who never wanted to be in this situation saying the change needs to be made. I feel very sad about it. But every excuse or every avenue you look at to say, can we get by? We can't. It's not going to work. In my mind, it's not going to work. Avishek Chatterjee says Mourinho is only because I think he needs to leave with a bit of respect. 2 trophies, runners-up last season. I hope for top 4, FA Cup and a good Champions League run, and then leave for a new guy in the summer. If Mourinho gets us top 4 from here, Avishek, I'll applaud the guy. I will. I really will. If he can get us top 4 from this situation, I'll be stunned. I'd be very pleased. Even though 4th place is still crap for a club like United, like you say, he goes in the summer, that would be fine. But, I don't. If I was on the board, I'd be like, I don't trust him to get top 4. I just don't think he can do it. And I think, but a new manager might just be able to do it from this point. But I'm not on the board, so it makes no difference what I say. Please do drop a like on the video, everybody. It's really, really appreciated as normal. And I really do apologise about the lack of a Skype show tonight. It is my fault 100%, but we will definitely do a Skype show on Thursday night to get it back. And I was going to do this anyway, but as a little bit of a giveaway that I'm doing, I've done 2 of these over the last couple of games, and I'll be doing another one tomorrow. All you got to do is the link in the video description for BetBull. You've got to be UK based. I apologise about that. We will do a shirt giveaway for everybody in the next week or so. But link in the video description for BetBull. This is just me doing this, a Goldbridge thing. A link in the video description for BetBull. You've got to be over 18 and please do gamble responsibly. Download it. Put a £5 bet on. But make sure what you've got to do is follow me. So once you're in there, click Market. Search through the magnifying glass. Type in Goldbridge. And it's Goldbridge FC there. Click on Goldbridge FC. Follow me. Now, what you might want to do, if you want to put a £5 bet on, you could use my bet, which I can show you by going back to the homepage and my bet centre. You don't need to do this. When you follow me, you can click on my bet and copy it. So this is, I put a fiver on to win 80 quid. I've got Barcelona to beat Spurs. It's a Champions League bet because it's Champions League week. I've got Barcelona to beat Spurs, Liverpool to beat Napoli, Real Madrid to beat Moscow, Manchester United to beat Valencia, and City to beat Hoffenheim. So that £5 wins you 80 quid. The only team I'm a little bit worried about there is Manchester United, but I'm going to bet on my own club. So Link in the video description, download it, go to market, search for Goldbridge with the search icon, Goldbridge FC, follow me, put a £5 bet on. You can use my £5 bet if you want, or you can put a different one on. There's loads of people to follow on BetBull. BetBull is like, it's got loads of, they call them bulls. They're basically tipsters. You can see their history. They'll have accumulators up there that you can just put a fiver on. They've done all the work for you. You can see their success ratings. So link in the video description for that. And what I will do during the game tomorrow is I'll get this up on screen. We'll go to the people who are following me and I'll pick a random winner at a random winner. There we go. So link in the video description for that. Follow Goldbridge FC. Put a £5 bet on. You can follow mine if you want. And we'll pick a winner tomorrow night. You can pick United shirt. Pink, blue or red. There you go. And our 2 winners so far have been Grassor1, who's got his on the way, and Trust the Fox. So there you go. We've had 2 winners so far, and we'll have a 3rd one tomorrow night. Link in the video description for that. Get on it like a car bonnet. Right, that will conclude the show. A very interesting show. As I say, I apologise for everybody that we didn't get a Skype show tonight. That's my fault. JG062 says, I'm from California. I'm a Mourinho winner. Our local club, San Jose Earthquakes, need urgent help. The playoff system suits Jose. He may win. Come to Quakes. There you go. I'm sure Mourinho would do a very good job for you there. But look, if you are Mourinho in, that's your opinion. Everybody's got a different opinion and everyone's got a right to that. So, you know, I'd never, ever tell somebody that their opinion is wrong, because it's your opinion. For me, it's time to make a change, but I don't see that change coming anytime soon. I think we will win tomorrow night, and we will obviously be with you tomorrow night. So I'll be live from 7 o'clock with the team news right the way through till full time, match reaction, fan cams from Old Trafford with Flex. And tomorrow, remember, 1 o'clock, it's the Flex and Rant show. So I think that'll be a very interesting show. Get it on your lunchtime and watch that as well. But I want to say again, thanks absolutely everybody who's watched. You're absolutely amazing. We had a difficult time when it's live, not getting the Skype show up. I'll sort that Discord thing out in the week. We need to get that up and running. I think we need to move away from Skype as a channel and as a community, and we'll get the Discord thing up and running. So thanks everybody very much for that. Please do drop a like on the video. We can't do the show without you, and you made the show tonight. You really rescued it. So thanks everybody very, very much. Also, if you didn't see Jose Mourinho's press conference, I did a video about 2 o'clock this afternoon. It's got everything that he said, my reaction, thoughts on it. So if you didn't see his press conference, or you just want my reaction to it and what people were saying about it rather than his, what he actually said, you know, what you know, our reaction to it, it will be on the homepage there. I think it's I'm Here to Stay, it's called. It's a picture of Mourinho, so give it a watch. It's only about 15 minutes long. And yeah, if you want to go in for the Manchester United shirt giveaway, then the link is in the video description for BetBull, and get on that. Thanks for watching. I'll speak to you all soon. See you tomorrow.